Here is an important clarification on rent-free accommodation perquisite valuation. As we all know, I already gave an amendments video even in the part 1 income tax marathon. If at all you're watching this marathon, just go through. If at all you're watching marathon, go through with that. In that salaries amendments we have covered. One of the amendment is rent-free accommodation related perquisite valuation limits have been changed. Now, many are having a confusion on these limits. Will these limits be applicable for the entire previous year 23-24, or for part of a previous year these limits, for part of a previous year old limits? The part of a previous year old limits is applicable, for part of a previous year new limits is applicable. You see here, this notification is with effect from 1st September 2023, which means the new limits are applicable from 1st September onwards only. Suppose if an employee is given accommodation throughout 23-24, April to March, for example, first 5 months, which means up to August, depending upon the old limits, perquisite value has to be computed. From 1st September, as per these rates, the perquisites have to be computed. The perquisite has to be computed as per the new rates. What are the new rates? If at all the population is more than 40 lakhs, 10% of the salary is perquisite. If the population is between 15 to 40 lakhs, 7.5%, and remaining cases 5% is the value of the perquisite. Whereas in old provision, if population is more than 25 and 15%, 10 to 25, 10%, other cases 7.5%. These limits are applicable up to August month, and these limits are applicable from September onwards. That's it. Now, this has been evidenced by, in MTP2, there is a question. Just to go through, you can directly open MTP2. You can just open MTP2, question number 3. Inside that, some part, I guess so. Okay, that is dealing with the income from salaries related problem, especially. Inside that, they even done the exact treatment. See, there is a confusion actually, because perquisite value of the subsequent years is decided based upon the 23-24 year. So maybe earlier, until I have seen this, until I see this problem, I was in an assumption that these limits are retrospective, though the supplementary material used the word with effect from. But anyhow, ignore all this discussion. In 23-24, up to 31st August 2023, these limits are applicable. From 1st September 2023, these limits are applicable. 24-25 onwards, straight away new limits fully. Are you clear? So this just important clarification, please make a note of it. So if at all you watched this video, definitely in exam, if this question comes, it definitely strikes it for you. That's it. So now what we have seen, the perquisite valuation, like 10, 7.5, 5% is for own accommodation. What if the employer has taken a premises on rent and given to employee? Up to 31st August, 15% of salary or actual rent for that period, whichever is lower. Correct? Whereas from 1st September onwards, 10% of salary or actual rent paid by the employer, whichever is lower. So even for hotel accommodation also you have to, even for a rented accommodation also you have to remember this. Up to 31st October, 15% of salary of those 5 months or actual rent paid for those 5 months, whichever is lower. Whereas from 1st September, 10% of salary or actual rent, whichever is lower. So that's even for rented accommodation also the same dates will apply. That's it. So continue revision.